Hello and welcome back to When the Cookie Crumbles. I'm Susan Reddick and I'm your host. And today, I got a special guest, y'all. I have, well, I'm not going to say a former Miss America because you are forever Miss America.
And I thank you.
Oh, this is Ericka Dunlap, y'all. Yay! I'm so excited. I don't have to tell anybody who you are because we know who you are. We know who you are from the up and down. I'll never forget that day.
Yes.
Watching you had on that yellow gown, I will never forget it. And you are extra special to me. I tell this all the time, but I met you when you were a teenager. Mm-hmm. You came for career day at the lawyer's office I worked at, and I'll never forget, I was trying to get a little chemistry with you. And I said, well, what do you do? She says, I compete. I'm like, compete? I thought like basketball. She says, no, in my summers, I compete in beauty contests. And I'll never forget that. Then I turned on the TV that day, and there you were, winning. I was like, by joy, she did it. And it was such a special, that's a big title. And it carries a lot of responsibility also for you. Mm-hmm. Right?
To whom much is given, much is required.
Yes.
And to be a queen is not just to be a beauty queen, somebody who gets fancy all the time, but really is to get in the trenches with your community and be a queen of your community. So I like to think of myself as such. I am a queen of the community because I've been in these streets doing the work, and the work is varied. I have been at a lot of elementary schools. As a matter of fact, one of my friends is a hairstylist. She was doing this young man's hair, and she is a loctician, so she's doing his hair. And he looked up at me, and he's like, I kept looking at you because when I was in 5th grade at Washington Shores Elementary, you came, I was like Miss Orlando, and I came to speak to the 5th graders in an assembly, and I picked him out of all of the kids. Oh. And he remembered that. So to me, I'm like, I'm an OG influencer. I've been doing this a long time before there was an internet. And I am fortunate to have that relationship with my community. I have a relationship with people from all sectors of my community. So that's what I feel a queen really is somebody who can speak to the heart of the queen, the queendom, the kingdom that she represents.
And what I love about you, you're always accessible.
Yeah.
No matter where you are. I've seen you at a soul food restaurant before. and she's gonna stop and talk to you. Yeah. Some people you'll talk to and they'll let you know they don't have time.
Yeah.
You always have time for everybody.
I do.
Even
my
if
best.
You're hungry, trying to eat, you don't stop.
Because I'm used to that. It became kind of par for the course as it relates to being Miss America. I would go to restaurants and people would follow me into the bathroom. Now that's where
I get a picture.
I draw the line at that point because it's like, you have to respect the fact that people are people. I'm a regular person that has some extraordinary gifts, and I have put them on display, and I have put myself in a position to be okay with putting them on display, because a lot of times that comes with the responsibility of knowing how to value yourself so that everyone can't access you. Yes. You have to know when to pull that plug, because sometimes people will take so much from you, and then you're working from an empty tank because people are, they're withdrawing from you. So I try to manage that, but I also recognize that I am little without those who are around me. So I have to recognize young people. I have to recognize poor people. I have to recognize wealthy people. I have to recognize people of different colors, faiths, ethnicities, because that's a part of it. I got to know my people, all of them.
That sounds like your mama talking like you was, old people would say, you was raised well, girl. You was raised well.
It's true. And I was raised well right here in Orlando.
Right here.
I'm from here, went to Pine Hills Christian Academy, the only Christian academy in Pine Hills. I feel really good about that. That's always so funny to me. It's like, I went to the private school in Pine Hills. But then I went on to Boone High School and to UCF, so I'm a product of Orlando through and through. And I'm proud of that. I love where I come from. I love my neighborhood. I still live in the neighborhood I grew up in. I bought a home there, renovated, and trying to put my stamp on the stop of gentrification
Yes.
and really buying back the block and re-gentrifying for ourselves as
Yes.
opposed to moving outward and showing our upward mobility. Let's stay inward.
Yes.
And let's take care of home, because there's so many wonderful homes. And I think I'm talking to the right person here, but there's so many wonderful neighborhoods that have
Yes.
rich history
Yes.
and that have deep roots that need to be reconnected with those who have gone out, made something of ourselves, and you
You are
decide
so
to
right.
live here and come back. You gotta stay in your neighborhood,
That's
because
true.
we protect us. And so I just feel this relationship to Orlando in a different way than somebody who's not from here.
Yeah.
Because, this is my home. This is where I will be laid to rest.
It's so funny. I guess people, like older people, we always see you as a little girl. You know what I'm saying? So to hear you talking like this, I'd be like, oh, I've grown up a little bit.
Yes, you're
Okay.
talking well. I've learned from people like yourself who, to come into your office, it's like, this is what I want to be when I grow up. This is what I want to be when I grow up. And I've grown up a lot, but I grew up under the guise of wise women like yourself who have taken it upon themselves to make something that people can come to, make something that is multi-generational.
Yes.
And you've created a serene space that's clean, it's comfortable, it's bright, it's airy, and it's inviting.
Yes.
So you are part of inviting the community. You have a granddaughter here, like you
Ooh,
have.
she done aged me, y'all.
Well, that just means you are a grandmother.
Yes.
And I tell my mama all the time, you are a grandmother. You have been exalted to the position of grandmother.
That's true.
So the rest of us is just mother.
Yes.
We just working on step
Yeah,
one.
you gonna get there, okay?
So no, I'm appreciative of women like yourself who thought it not robbery to take the time back then. Whenever we met was, I'm 41 now, so that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
and it's still special to me.
For 30 years, you have been giving back to the community. You have been setting an example. You have been a pillar of the community. So and you need to know that we need to give you all the flowers. I did not bring flowers.
I would say this every day for people. Did y'all hear that? Did you hear that? Okay.
Yes, toot your horn.
Yes.
My pastor says it's a poor frog that won't praise his own pond.
Oh my God.
So please praise your pond,
like
because
that.
you have done amazing things. You have
Thank
set the tone. It is so wonderful in here. So I just want to say
I'm
thank
somebody,
you.
y'all.
Yes, ma'am.
Y'all. Okay. I got a question. Let's talk about your journey to become Miss America.
Long and hard, blood, sweat, and tears, quite frankly and
do it?
literally. I thought I could do it, that's why I kept doing it. But I didn't really know it would happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew that I could when I got it. If I got it, I could do this. Because to me, what it meant was, you get dressed up all the time and you speak nicely to people and you help to solve problems and connect people and you're making speeches and you're cutting ribbons. And I didn't really know what it was, of course. But the fantasy that I drummed up in my mind was that Miss America was a professional woman who was a spokesperson for her community, spokesperson for the country, spokesperson in some effects, royalty for our country. That's what I grew up thinking Miss America was. She was no different than Princess Diana to me.
That's pretty accurate, I think, because like you say, it's for the whole country.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the part that you say, but you still live in your community.
Absolutely.
That's that special part.
Because that's what made me special. That's what made me who I am. If I had not gone to Pine Hills every day, passing by the Central Florida Fairgrounds and seeing all the stuff and the people and all the experiences that are real to me on a daily basis. If I hadn't experienced all of that, I wouldn't have the toolkit that I have to be able to build what I built.
Yeah.
So I do that based on the people who have helped to form me, all the people inadvertently who helped to form me. People who didn't know, the lady who, was at the corner store, all those people are a part of who I am.
Yeah.
So it's important for me to be in my community still, do things, support different initiatives that may seem as though they're not high budget, but they are something that is important to this group in the community.
Yeah, they still bring value.
You have to be a part of that.
That's good. Oh,
So
this is
yeah,
so good.
so my
Well,
journey is
let's talk about some of the things you built then. Let's talk about Crown Communication Group.
yes.
Tell me what that is.
CCG Crown Communication Group was born as a funnel for my speaking engagements. So after Miss America, what I learned in being Miss America is that you travel the country, you are a spokesperson, you are a professional speaker, and you make appearances from the organization to a variety of groups. And so my year, I focused in on diversity, equity, and inclusion is what they call it now, DEI. But I was doing diversity, inclusion, and figuring out how to create opportunities for culturally diverse audiences to connect with each other. And so I was 21 years old at the time, and I had read a lot. I had a lot of passion, but I didn't know a lot, to be completely honest. But I knew that I could do this job if I was given the chance, and that's what I conveyed to the judges, and that's why I was elected. So in doing that job and in having all these speaking engagements, every 48 hours I was in a new city, and I was going from Colorado to New York to Iowa to Puerto Rico to the Virgin Islands back to California. So you're going nonstop. And so what I learned from that is not only how to use my speaking skills, but then also how to represent different clients from a public relations perspective. My major at UCF was advertising and public relations. So I already had in my mind side that I wanted to do that. But I got to actually be the subject as well as the interviewer and the gatherer of information for a lot of the projects that I worked on as Miss America. So it was like the perfect internship, externship.
Yes. Preparing you for this life.
Preparing me for this.
Yes.
So yes, it has turned into a community asset where we are at the intersection of publicity, community, and diversity. We have 3 different areas where we focus in on to help people to expand their diversity profile, get them connected to community organizations, and then also finding ways to amplify the voice of the project and voice of the organization.
That's so you took your lemons, made a whole bunch of lemonade. Not just lemonade. Not a pitcher. You made a couple gallons and kept on going. Yes, everything you can make with the lemonade. That is great. Recently I had the honor of coming to your Christmas, soulful Christmas.
Yes, Christmas was soul.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Thank you.
It was wonderful. And I'm the biggest Christmas person. So I knew every song. I was dancing and singing and one of my granddaughters was you even gave some of the local dance companies an opportunity to come and perform with you.
Yes, that was exciting.
And so she got a chance, and I told her about the significance. You're going up there with Miss America, so she was very proud.
Thank you.
To be up there. It meant a lot to her, and we talked a lot about that.
Oh, thank you.
So, oh my God, this is so.
Thank you for supporting her.
Yes. Oh, it was. So, can you tell me real fast about a trial that you might have had in your life?
So many. I think the becoming of who I am as a woman now. 9 years ago, my brother passed away. My brother was my hero. So, it was really sudden. And I was the person who was calling people and, getting everything situated and doing all the funeral arrangements and all that. And so that was the first time I'd ever had to deal with that. And I never thought I would have to do that for my big brother.
Yeah.
So fast forward 8 months later, my boyfriend committed suicide.
Oh my.
So within an 8-month span, beauty queens cry when we talk. It ain't no thing. It's just a little water. But in an 8-month span, my life flipped upside down. And so in the midst of grieving, healing, grieving again, I had to come to a reckoning of understanding. Why did this happen? How did this happen? All of those things, right? And so I share that with you because that was the first memorable, really hard moment of my journey that a lot of people don't know about.
Yes.
So that was difficult, but the beauty of it is that I've had a chance to help other people with those same struggles, with the struggle of losing a sibling, the struggle of losing your loved one who you thought you were going to be planning your life out with.
Yes.
So in spite of how I pull it together, that was 8 and 7 years ago, and I still have deep pain.
I wish I could tell you it was going to get better. I wish I lost my mom at a young age. I was probably about 31, 32.
Mm-hmm.
And could you imagine being on your own without your mom? Because you're very close to your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see if I can get some tissue. I lost my mom at such a young age, and it's been 25 years now.
Yeah.
And something can happen like Mother's Day or something like that, and it still hurts me just as much as it was, So, but you know what? I'm so glad that you shared it, and it was so pure, because people need to know that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they only get to see the Ericka.
They get to see the glitz and the glamour.
Yeah, with the fluffy dress, and all made up, and you got pain just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing that I have discovered is that when you're the person that does all the calling and making all the arrangements and doing all of that, you don't really get a chance to grieve.
Oh, it takes you a little longer.
Yeah, you don't, because
you
you're
have
so
to delay
busy.
it.
Yeah, you're so busy taking care of everything.
Yes.
That you can't grieve.
Right.
And then it hits you later on.
It does.
Yeah.
And it hits you at strange times, but again, to whom much is given, much is required.
Yes.
And that means that, to be that rock for your family and almost to be chosen in a way that, okay, somehow Spirit knew that she'll take care of it.
Yeah, that she can handle it.
Not to underestimate the others.
Yes.
But maybe to relieve them. Somebody's got to deal with all of it. Somebody's got to do this. And somebody's got to do this with a clear mind, a pure heart, and an iron fist.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to death, people can get really, really wicked. People can get nasty. Yeah. Money gets all crazy.
Oh, you do not want to talk about how
saying?
Money make people in death. Money will make people crazy.
I ain't gonna say no names, but baby, there was a funeral director, not locally, fortunately, but in regards to my brother's passing, he lived in Daytona area, and this gentleman tried to take my nephews for $5,000 extra. And if I hadn't been sitting in that room under their overwhelm, they were in their 20s and they lost their mother 3 years prior and lost their dad. So they are essentially orphans in their 20s. These young men had never had to plan a funeral because their father planned their mother's. Yeah. And now they're planning their father's. So just the idea that they had to go through this, and I had the opportunity to be my brother's keeper. Yes. And to sit with them and to make sure they weren't going to get taken.
You had to fix it.
I was not having it. Yeah. And it's only because I've been Miss America. I was on the Bill O'Reilly show when he tried to tear me down, and on national television, I had to let him know that I'm not the one, sir. I know that you think I'm Miss America and I'm soft and sweet and cute, and I'm all of those things, but I'm also from Orlando, Florida, and I'm not having that from you. So, when you have to stand up for yourself in really critical times, it's because of all the things that you went through that you're able to recognize it and move when you need to. So I just bring it all up to say that that pivotal moment in my life, I had to recognize how to say no. Yes. I had to learn how to just be a different person. I had to learn how to listen to myself better and to pay attention to the things that I was just taking for granted. Really taking inventory of the people who mattered to me, spending time with them, letting them know how much I care about them. I love them. I appreciate them. I'm here to help you. Really not taking for granted, because my brother, it happened so quick. Yeah. And when I listened to my mom and her recounting their final moments together, he took her to lunch on Wednesday and it happened on Friday.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, those are the things that matter most to me,
Yeah.
is finding a way to reconcile the challenges that you've been through,
Yes.
because you're really pressing forward and you're making sure that you're connected to the people who matter the most to you, who made you who you are along your journey.
All right. Well, I gotta wrap it up, but I got a real quick question. If you could go back and talk to your 18-year-old self, girl graduating before you became Miss America, right?
Mm-hmm.
Graduating from high school, or not just you, another 18-year-old, because like it's a lot of young girls looking up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, once you get that title, it never goes away. You're always a Miss America, and you always have those responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you tell the 18-year-old young person or little girl with all the knowledge that you have right now? What kind of nugget would you give that person?
I would tell my 18-year-old self that, number one, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with the way you look. There's nothing wrong with your nose. There's nothing wrong with your hair. You just need a good hairstylist. There's nothing wrong with any part of you. You just need to own what you got. You know, the cards that you've been dealt are just for you. Mm-hmm. So just flip through them and find out which ones work for you, and then make that work for you. So many times I was kind of caught up in not being enough. Yes. In a lot of different ways, not being light-skinned enough, not being talented enough, not being whatever enough, and I have more than enough. Yeah. I always have. And all you have to do is just hone in. You know, you might have to turn off some of those voices, quiet down some of the influences that are around you, whether it's Instagram or whether it's your best friends that gossip all the time and that just don't really have any ambition or forward movement. You have to remove yourself from that and get yourself around people and situations that empower you, inspire you, want you to be more than what you are. They motivate you. That's what you have to really focus in on. So I would tell that to my 18-year-old self. And last comment, I would also tell her that everything works out for your best, your highest good. Everything, all of it. Ups, downs, around the corner, down the street, all of it works for your highest good. So don't underestimate even the low points in your life.
She done took us to church, y'all. I appreciate this. You know what? I'm so glad that I know you got a busy day going on. Thank you for taking the time out for a little girl like me and coming by and sitting with me. I'm going to have you come back maybe next quarter. Okay. Because I want to talk more about your Crown Communication Group to see, because you're a community leader, and I want to see how that can help more people. We touched on it today, but I want to come back and always see what you're doing, and I appreciate you so much. Any last words? Tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Ericka Dunlap. Ericka with a CK. I'm not Ericka with a C, and I'm not Ericka with a K. I got it all. Ericka with a CK, so don't forget that, okay?
All right, you heard it right there. And we're going to leave it right there. I'm Susan Reddick, and I'm your host for When the Cookie Crumbles, and we're going to see you next time. Thank you, everybody.